Hello everyone, thanks for joining me and welcome from my house to your house. This evening we're going to do a wee bit about carbohydrates, how they're very nutritious foods but also very good on costings. Now you may say carbohydrates, and a lot of people question carbohydrates believing that they're fatty foods. They're not entirely fatty foods, it's more what we add to them that can make them fatty. So let's say the butter on our bread or the sauces in our bolognese and lasagnas. So in fact carbohydrates are actually a very good group of foods that ideally should be eaten at every meal in the day. They include your examples of carbohydrates are like your breakfast cereals, your breads, your porridges, your Weetabix, for lunches maybe your potatoes, your dinners, your rice, your pastas and noodles. So all very, very good. They are really good energy foods. Now there is the thing, obviously, the more active you are, the more carbohydrates that you would be taking. So maybe somebody that's out that plays a high active sport would use more carbohydrates than maybe somebody who is at the computer during the day. So the portion size would be determined by age, by the levels of activity and appetite. So as I say, they're very good energy foods, they're very good for your B vitamins. They also, some of them supply, particularly with your cereals, you get your calciums and they can be fortified with iron. They are a good source of fibre, and fibre is very, very good because it fills you up very well, it reduces and can prevent constipation. So actually very, very good for you. Now I've brought this particular box to show you because it shows in the back high in fibres, sources of vitamin B and your sources of iron. Now we're talking about cost as well. The same size box of this in Kellogg's is $2.50 and this was $1.40 in Asda. So for example, supermarket brands can be every bit as good. And when you are trying to watch your money and mind your pennies, planning meals is very important. Equally, when you're going shopping, try not to shop when you're hungry, because you will tend to eat with our eyes quite a lot, so therefore we tend to put more into the trolley. So avoid kind of buying a lot of maybe junk food because they don't really have the nutritional value and can be more costly. So tonight I am going to do a dish that I think is very good for this group, which is your rainbow rice. So with it you'll see exactly on the table all the different colours of the rainbows, which I spoke about before, which we should have in our diet. If we're hitting the colours of the rainbow, then we're doing very well. So we're getting our vegetables in. This food as well is actually very good because when we cook it in an evening, if we make plenty of it, we can have it maybe the next day for our lunch. We can also freeze it, so it's more ways of being economical with time and money as well. So without further ado, I'll start cooking this recipe. It's very versatile. Again, you can add what you want, you can take away what you want from it as well, and I hope you enjoy it. So come on over to the cooker and see what I'm up to. Okay, so I'm going to start off putting on the rice. The rice takes roughly 10 minutes. So I mentioned earlier that with rice it's about a half a cup per person, and when you're putting in the water, about 1.5 times the amount of rice. So that's the background on. And that'll wait, let it boil away for 10 minutes. So while that's doing, we'll cook our vegetables. This, so just a wee tiny drop of oil. So this is actually very good as well, because if you have any leftovers, rather than waste, if you have any leftovers from your meal from maybe the day before, it's a good idea and a good way of using them up. This wee recipe is a very good one as well for getting kids to eat their vegetables, because it's actually quite a tasty wee dish. But you will go to your own cupboards and find different things that you will like, and you might say, well, I would prefer to use this than that and whatever, and that's okay, because we all very individual, we all have different tastes. So, and it's good that we're all like that. So I am a great lover of a wee touch of garlic and a wee bit of chilli for a wee bit of flavour on this one. So I'm just going to add like a wee half spoon of each. So just as it's heating up, just a wee half spoon. And that's and a wee half spoon of chilli. Just gives it that wee bit of a kick. Stir that around. So the first thing that we're going to throw in is our scallions. So get the nice smells going fast. So this won't take very long, which is great. It's an ideal dish, so it's easy on electric or gas, whichever that you use as well, because of the time, and yet such a nutritious dish. And I spoke there a wee bit earlier about the fibre and the advantages of fibre. Fibre is very good for you as well, because it's good for, it helps with weight control, it fills you up very quickly, it is a slow release of energy, which means you stay full for a lot longer. It can help prevent against cancers like bowel cancer. It reduces your risks of heart disease, so definitely a very good value for money. And you're definitely getting your nutrition with that. So some foods that are maybe good, which are reasonable to buy until you have them at the good price, are things like maybe the cheaper foods like oats and rice and beans. Eggs are very good actually. Eggs can be very good price. Tuna's very good price. Frozen vegetables are very good, because frozen vegetables you get less waste, because you tend to only use what you need. And I did mention before about vegetables. Vegetables are very good, and they can be cheap when they're bought in season. But all vegetables are good should they be fresh, tinned, frozen or dried. If you are using, say for example, tinned stuff, always remember to get it in its own juice. If you're getting vegetables in the tin, get ones with the low salt or no salt. So that's the scallions that's been away there. So next to them, I'm going to put in another splash of colour with our carrots. Now the carrots I have cut in strips like this, because I like a wee bit of a crunch with the rainbow rice. If you prefer not to have too much of a crunch, you might prefer to grate the carrots. So with this, there's like 3-4 scallions are used in this, and 2 medium carrots. And this, what I'm making now, will do a family of 4. And another advantage of this dish is you can have it on its own. There is a little bit of ham goes on at the end, so you're getting your bit of the meat for a vegetarian. Touch 2, you just leave the ham out. But also this meal is actually can be served on the side with maybe like a chicken breast fillet or maybe a pork chop, whichever you prefer. And that can be quite nice if you want to marinate that particular piece of meat. I don't know if you hear this sizzling away here in the pan. So I'm going to let that go cook there for just a few minutes before I add the other ones, because the carrots and scallions just do take slightly that wee bit longer. So I'll give that a wee minute and I'll come back. Okay, so that's the scallions and the carrots as ready as I want them to be. Enough to give a wee crunch when you're eating. So then we're going to add the rest of our vegetables. So a wee bit of red pepper, a bit of yellow pepper, some green beans, and then some mushrooms.
There you go. Lots of colours there, which is great. Now when we were talking earlier about the types of the carbohydrates are the breads, the pastas, the rices. I didn't mention at the time about if you can to swap the brown where necessary, maybe your wholemeal bread, your brown pasta, your brown rice. These tend to be a lot more fibre in them, so much better for you. What I would say is if you do make the swap, quite often what's not always mentioned is that we really should be taking plenty of water. We should be drinking at least 8 glasses of water a day to keep us good and hydrated. It helps with our concentration, helps the brain and the body function very well. So there we go, look at that. Nice. So I would say the rice is almost ready. So I let that gently dry away there and I'll check on the rice to see how it's doing. And there we go, lovely and fluffy. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll drain this here off and add it into this and let you see how it looks in. Alright, then that's the rice ready. So just before I do that, I'm going to add another wee extra bit of seasoning. So some soy sauce, good dollop there, soy sauce, and pepper. As I say, you might have other seasonings that you like yourself, so feel free to add your own wee bit and make it your own. So there we go. So how colourful and lovely does that look? Full of wholesome goodness and really, really reasonable to cook. So here comes the rice. And there we have our rainbow rice. So just mix it all through. Get our colours jumping through the rice. And the very last we're going to add wee bits of cooked ham. Okay. So I'm going to stir this round and then serve it up, and I'll let you see that in a moment. And there we go. There's your rainbow rice. And what I did was I actually put the rice into this little pot and turned it over onto the plate. So that's it, and dressed with a little bit of parsley or coriander just to dress it up. And also then you could add on the side of the plate chicken or maybe pork chop, anything that you want. And maybe that's just plenty enough because trust me, it's very, very filling. And as I say, look at the size of that in one helping and wait till you see how much is extra. So there you go. So value for money, it's a great dish, very nutritious dish, full of all the goodness and at a really reasonable price that is so cheap to put out on the table and guaranteed success. So all I can say is thank you for watching. I hope that you've been able to pick up a couple tips, and if you feel that you can help me in any way, please get back to me and let me know. I would be delighted to hear from you. So until the next time, cheerio.